That's not going to work. So all that bullshit about needing the valves to check them and all the collets and everything.
Yeah.
What? Well, you can't get that fucking spring in there, can you? They should be that way. Springs go like that. And I'm not pushing them out because they'll break. So that's down to them.
Yeah. Well, it's a complete fuck up anyway. That should have been done. It's fucking blatantly obvious, isn't it? I'll give him a good in.
That's a technical term.
That's a technical term, mate. Fuck off. The 1935 Sunbeam 95R. I made an L and an R. L was for lighting, R was for racing. Basically, all the engines were stamped L as far as I'm aware. So we're going to make an R out of it because it's easier to do than building a complete bike with everything on it. 500 single, blah blah blah. So we've had new valve seats made. We were supposed to get those two fins repaired, which they haven't done. And they've put the valve guides in the wrong way round. They should be that way. But that can go back and be done. We've had fins repaired on the cylinder and a light hone, so that's all ready to rock and roll, all cleaned up. And we've had, see the shiny bushes here, they've all been made. The crank, new valve springs made, and we've got new valve spring keepers made. Yeah, so basically this is the racing engine of the era. You've got a downdraught carburetor on the cylinder head, and that's flowing downwards, yeah?
Okay.
It's a dome piston with valve cutouts. So you've got, I mean, like, they're massive for this era. Very, very big. Completely balanced crank, lightweight alloy con rod. And they've tightened up a bit, that has, so there'll be something in here. But he's replaced one of the bearings in there, so I think he said he was going to leave it long. So we'll shave that. Back in the day, it's called a 95 because it would go 95 mile an hour in 1935.
And how did that compare to the bikes of the same type?
Oh, massively fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's an overhead valve, you know. But all these bearings were shot to pieces. So I had to have I mean, I've got the lathe there, but I'm not skilled enough on the lathe to do them properly, you know. So they went off to the engineers. Formals, they do all lots of vintage racing cars and all sorts of stuff. So let's give this a little tap and it should come on. A baby screwdriver. But quite a rare motorbike. Well, very rare motorbike. In either form, being the L or the R. So they're all new bushes, apart from that one, which is your valve lifter, which just picks up on that. So we've got all nice bushings now, all brand new. It's got the original race cams in it, all been faced off and done. So nothing hits anywhere, that's the main thing. They've left a nice lead in there for your oilways. Yeah, original 3060s on the camshafts, which is your opening and closing places. So now, see how free that is? That should always go back up. That's perfect balance, yeah? So you push that down to the bottom, let it go, let it roll over. I'm not pulling that at all, look. And it'll just rock back to there. So you know the crank's got perfect balance on it.
Yeah.
So something's tightening up.
If it didn't have perfect balance, what would be
It would still run, it would still be fine, but that's if you want ultimate performance out of the engine, you want that perfect, you know?
Yeah.
So the next thing, that tightened up, so we'll put this back on. As you can see, it's picking up there. So it might just need a light Put a little bit of oil on it. Probably needs just a bit of paste on there, give it a wang over. You see the copper on there? See the colour change there very slightly?
Oh, yeah.
But you have to get this right, because you don't want any oil seeping through, because what it does, it feeds oil from the oil pump, yeah, into that hole there, which comes out of that little tiny hole there, and feeds the crank bearings from there,
Okay.
into the main bearing. Put your 4 screws in a nice square pattern, you know, that's pulling the casing in square then. I've got to get all new screws for it anyway.
And you reckon the rebuild will start in February?
Yeah. Yeah, all this also. I've got to clean all this properly again. Right, that's too tight, you see. Probably put some valve grinding paste in there, wind it over. I'll just free it up. But you want to take the bare minimum out you have to take out.
Yeah.
So I won't do that now because I'm shitty. I've got to be clean to build this. But that's, you know, that's your initial problem then, yeah?
Okay.
So what I'll then do is when it all comes apart, you then put all your cams back in, all your lifter arms back in, and make sure all of those are working without the crankshaft in. Then we know our only tight spot is there. If it's an end float problem, see that's tight still with the screws undone, yeah? So if we break that open, yeah, just that little bit, still tight, so we know it's not an end float problem that way.
Yeah.
It'll be a radial problem that way. Right, that's now got plenty of room there. That's still tight, so it's only very, very slight. So we know that that bush there, see that pick up in the middle? Can you see it now?
Yeah, that's better.
Slight change in colour there, that means your first bit is probably fine. And you just got a slight bit of pick up on there. You've got no play in the bearing there at all. So the other thing to check is when this is bolted down on the cage to build it properly, put a DTI on there, and that'll tell you whether that is actually bent or not. I would say that's running fairly true. You get to know these things when you eyeball them, you know what I mean? And the other thing, it could possibly have a bit of a flare out on the end, but I can check that with a micrometer. So you might just need to just take a slight bit off the edge of that.
Tiny fractions, aren't they?
Oh yeah, you're talking tiny, but you want it to be like that. That's perfect balance, which is what you want. So that's what we've had done. Still looking for parts, obviously.
What parts are you looking for? Anything specific?
Clutch. Whoever had it took the clutch off and sold it on eBay. Cams all look good, no lifting on them. Normally these, when they all wear out, you see, you get an edge. You can just see one starting to come there. See that little tiny edge there?
Okay, yeah.
And that's where that sits. So if this all wears out and it does this, everything's wobbling, yeah? It'll just wear a slight edge on that, which you don't want. So I can just take that off very slightly. But I've got it all written down. You've got 1 dot, 2 dots. So you know that 1 is the inlet cam, 1 is the exhaust cam. Well, you know which way around they go anyway, because that you pick up for your timing gear is the one with that on it. So that's that one, and that's that one. And then there'll be something like that when it's timed up. You know, 1 slot, 2 dots. That one, you know, is that one, because it hasn't got the lifter on it. So that one has got a provision there. So when you want to stop one of these, because they haven't got an ignition as such, they all run on magneto.
Okay.
So what you do is that opens the exhaust valve, and it's all timed up so it's your appropriate spot to open the exhaust valve, yeah? But if you want to stop it, all you do is pull your valve lifter, and that lifts that off the cam, opens the exhaust valve, and stops the engine. It's all technical shit. Yeah, so that's it basically. What we've had done, it'll have to go back, like I say, which is a shame, but they done mess that up.
At least you notice it now rather than...
Yeah, it's that just bolts on, and then when, because you build all of this before, so you put all your springs in, yeah, build it all up and then bolt the head on.
Yeah.
That's what it is. They sit like that. Your valve comes up through there. That sits in there, yeah. And then you put your collets in and that holds the top of the valve and holds it all together.
Okay.
So in effect, that lot should be that way.
Yeah.
Yeah? So your valves come through and then you put your 2 collets in, which is there and there. They sit in a groove in the valve. Once the pressure of that spring's up on there with that taper, they can't come out. So, all in all, not too bad, but just need to address that slight tight spot, which I'm quite happy with.
You're not too concerned about that though?
No, we'll do that, that's not an issue.
So the main thing is the clutch. Anything else big to find?
No, not really. We've got pretty much all the rest of them. They're the wrong mud guards, and there's lots of things to fabricate. We've got all the rear sets, because it's racing controls on it. The brake normally on one of these is on the front, but it's not on the racer, it's on the back.
Okay.
But we're in conversation with a guy in Canada. He's got a 95L. We've got a load of 95L bits. He doesn't want his 95R bits on his bike.
Okay.
So hopefully
That could work out quite well.
we could do a deal. But if not, I've got all the plans to make everything. It's just a matter of sending it to an engineering shop and getting it made.
Yeah.
But obviously if we can swap the parts for original parts,
Even better.
well, and it's going to be cheaper than getting them made. So we've got to get the wheels built. I need to measure all the offsets and then get them over to Pete. Get some rims, get them laced. But we've got to paint the rims and paint the hubs first. It's sort of an ongoing. It's got to be right because they're worth quite a lot of money.
Mm.
You know, the last one was like 35 grand, so
Yeah, definitely.
you want to get it halfway right. Even though it's not a genuine 95R, it doesn't matter. It's still just, that's what makes it. You won't find another one. The frame's stamped 95L, the engine's stamped 95L. It's got the right close ratio racing gearbox. Yeah, so it's just a matter of getting all the bits together.
So what were they raced in?
Isle of Man TT. Not so much the 34, 35, 95. The ones before that were more Isle of Man TT, but this was just a continuation. It's like what we'd call it would be like an over-the-shelf works racer. You know, like you're not getting a full works bike, but you're going to Sunbeam and saying, I want the next best thing, you know?
Yeah.
It's like Yamahas. You could go, like when Dad raced, you get a Yamaha TR2B, over-the-counter racer. But it's not a works racer, they're a totally different animal.
So you reckon in its day this was the bike to have then?
Oh, it was quick, yeah. You'd have your Velisets, I think they were called KTTs. Again, Nortons would be running then, 35. Yeah, they would have been your main competitors, I would have thought, yeah. Interesting project though.
Yeah, definitely.
Next week on the workshop.
Yes, famous old carburettor, Stromberg 97. If you look at the size of that carburettor to that, they run out of fuel too quickly, they just haven't got big enough jets in them. Fine for like a flathead V8, which is a smaller engine. These big old straight 8s, they need a lot of fuel going through them, you know.